Good evening, Falcons fans. My name is Patrick Seals, and welcome to the November edition where I recap how disappointing the Atlanta Falcons were for the month of November, man. We played 4 games in the month of November. We lost 2 and we won 2. So for the month of November, we are even 500, which is pretty average for what we've been doing every time we had a 4-game stretch throughout the month. Throughout September, we had 3 games, so we only went 1 and 2. But for October and, of course, for November, we're averaging 2 games and 2 losses a month. And I ain't gonna lie, man. This month, it was a doozy. This month, we got smacked around quite well. We went on a long stretch of, of disappointment. We went through a 2-week stretch. No, it was Sunday through Thursday, and we played those games throughout the same week. But that led all the way up to this past Sunday. So that was a 2-week stretch of misery for everybody in the Atlanta area. So what I did was I got word from all the gurus around the city of Atlanta and asked them what their most disappointing player, game, play, or just in general moment of November. So that's Tommy from Terrell Boulevard in Atlanta, Georgia said the most disappointing part of November to him was the 2 scoreless game. He's talking about the Cowboys and the Patriots game where the Falcons didn't score a touchdown. Big Walt from Atlanta said his most disappointing player of the game of November is Matt Ryan. Hands down, had more interceptions than touchdowns this month, had a QB rating of 21.4 against the Cowgirls. Now, of course, what Big Walt from Atlanta is talking about, Matt Ryan had 3 touchdowns for the month of November and 5 interceptions, which gave him a ratio of 3-5 on touchdowns and interceptions, which means that he was averaging an interception a game in the month of November. So you can turn on any game in the month of November, you'll be probably watching him throw an interception, except for maybe that Saints game, but he made up for that for throwing multiple interceptions in the Cowboys and the Patriots game. And Anthony Driver from Atlanta said the most disappointing game for him would be the Panthers, which we played them Halloween day before November started. But also Calvin Ridley, #respectfully. Now, Ant Driver's talking about Calvin Ridley not being able to play for us throughout the month of November, but he also wanted to say respectfully. So whatever that means to you, #Calvin Ridley is the most disappointing player of the month, respectfully. So Jamirio from Milledgeville said he hasn't even been watching the game. He hadn't watched the Falcons game. They done pissed them off so bad they shouldn't have lost against the Cowboys. So he doesn't really know what's going on, but he knows that we're not doing too good. So Jacob Berry from Stockbridge said Mike Davis is the most disappointing player of the month of November. Mike Davis for falling off the face of the earth. And give me a second on the game. We are really good at winning these lost games. LOL. So Shafiq Marvin from Atlanta said, easily, bro, the Dallas and the Patriots game for sure. Those were horrible. I'd give the edge to the Patriots game at home, national TV, and got shut out. Super terrible, man. Ha ha ha. Glad the Braves, Hawks, and Atlanta United holding it down for the city. Cause man, ... The Falcons just ain't it, bro. Glad they beat the Saints, though. Glad they beat the Saints, which is something that I said I would be happy for throughout the season. Of course, I didn't realize the season to be this bad, but beating those Saints, it does make those other 2 losses feel earned. You know what I mean? Even though we lost to the Patriots and the Cowboys, we beat the Saints. We beat those damn Saints. So, Jacob Brunson from Stockbridge said the most disappointing game for him would be the Patriots game. The most disappointing play for him would be too many to name. And the most disappointing player of the month of November will be Matt Ryan. DC from Stockbridge said the Dallas game is the most disappointing game for him for the month of November. Jamarcus from Atlanta said definitely the Patriots game is the most disappointing game for him for the month of November. Mike from Grovetown said the Dallas game is probably the most disappointing game for him for the month of November. And Sammy from Stockbridge said definitely the Patriots game, the most disappointing game for him for the month of November. So as you can see, pretty much throughout the city of Atlanta everybody's saying the Patriots and the Dallas games are the most disappointing games for them. And as I called it, the Saints and then the Cowboys and then the Patriots are the teams I hate in that order. I hate the Saints the most, the Cowboys the second most, and then I hate the Patriots the third most. And of course, we lost to the teams that I hate the second and the third most respectively. Now, of course, I'm glad that we beat the other team respectfully. We beat them because I hate them the most. But, those other two teams. And then the way we lost in those games, man, the way we lost in those games was so frustrating. Because for me, I would have to say the most disappointing the most disappointing person for the month of November would easily be Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith is the most disappointing person for me for the month of November for the simple fact, ever since that 4th and 7 against the Cowboys, the Falcons they went on a trajectory for the worst. Ever since that 4th and 7 where we didn't convert, we didn't score points until this past recently Jacksonville Jaguars game. That's how bad that 4th and 7 was for us, man. That Cowboy, and then on top of that, we had momentum. Everything was all in front of us. We didn't score points again for that moment. And then even in the Patriots game, we got down in the same situation and we elected to go for it on 4th down and we didn't get it instead of kicking a field goal. And to me, this is reminiscent a lot of Dan Quinn. When Dan Quinn would come down, get down to the 49, the 50-yard line of the game, and he'll go for it on 4th and 2nd, 4th and 4, 4th and 5. It didn't matter. He'll go for it in that no man's land area. And that would make or break the game for us. And from what I see, a lot of times when teams don't get that 4th down conversion, they lose all the hope they have for their team. All the confidence that they have is over with. So for the sake of the morale of the team, I probably say if I'm playing Madden from here on out and I'm playing a guy online and I get down to a 4th down situation, I'm probably going to kick it. I'm probably going to kick a field goal or kick a punt. I don't care because going for it is just too risky. Everything is not worth it. The risk is so small, it's not worth it. What you gain from it does not weigh what it's worth because what you gain in that moment is a moment of continuation. That's it. It's just a small victory of continuation. But in the long term, your team loses confidence in themselves. If you don't get the 4th down, the team stops playing with cohesiveness and they lose morale and they forget how to function throughout the rest of the game. And as we can see, it took us a couple times to get back our function. It took a sorry team like the Jaguars for us to figure out how to win ball games again, man. So I put it like this. For the month of November, the Falcons scored 51 points. The offense scored 51 points. We had 27 in the first game against the Saints. We had 3 against the Cowboys, no points against the Patriots, and we scored 21 points against the Jaguars. Versus our opponents scored 107 points on us. They doubled our score. They doubled our score because of a result of our defense allowing them to, and our offense not being able to keep up with these playoff contenders. We didn't score points against the Patriots. We didn't score a touchdown against the Cowboys. And I believe the Patriots are leading their division right now, and the Cowboys are leading their division right now. So making it to the playoffs, these are the teams we're going to be playing if somehow miracle we make it to the playoffs. So playing these teams in playoff mode, it's not going to be something that you're going to want to invite your friends over to watch the Falcons game. You're going to watch this with your most ugliest t-shirt on in a dark room with no snacks, just misery and no hope. And you're going to cry afterwards because you know we're going to get smacked. We're going to get beat up. We're going to get drugged up and down the field if we make the playoffs. So why? Who wants to get embarrassed like that, man? Because, even further. So, we scored 3 touchdowns against the Saints, no touchdowns against the Cowboys and Patriots, and we scored 3 touchdowns against the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Saints scored 3 touchdowns on us, the Cowboys scored 6 touchdowns on us, the Patriots scored 2 touchdowns on us, and Jacksonville Jaguars scored 1 touchdown on us. So, that gives us a ratio of 1 to 2 of touchdown to touchdown. So that means for every touchdown that we score, our opponent scored 2 touchdowns. I don't know if y'all know math, but man, you can't win no ball games like that. You cannot win no ball games like that. Every time you score a touchdown, your opponent scores 2 touchdowns. That's the recipe for disaster. That's the recipe for a blowout. That is not a pretty sight. So November was it was a doozy for us, man. It was quite a roller coaster experience because our offense was able to go over 100 yards a couple times throughout rushing on the ground. And throughout the season, we've been starting Mike Davis for the most part of our games. We haven't been able to muster any rushing yards. But for the month of November, we started Cordell Patterson in the games that he was healthy, and we had over 100 yards. Against the Saints, we had 34. Against the Cowboys, he had 103. Most of that probably came in garbage time. Against the Patriots, we had 40. Well, Cordell Patterson was out for that game. And against the Jacksonville Jaguars, we had 149 rushing yards. And of course, Cordell Patterson accounted for 100 of those yards. So in total, we had 326 rushing yards on the ground through the month of November. So that means we was averaging 81.5 rushing yards a game, which it's not up to par, man. That is not even elite. That's nowhere near elite. That's 81.5 yards rushing a game. Nah, that's garbage time rushing yards. That's not something that is going to make up for the crucial parts of the game, getting 4th down, 3rd down conversions. That's when the game is lost and the defense is gearing up the rush to passing. They can care less about the run because they know you're not going to score a touchdown. So even though we improved a little bit, not by a lot, putting Cordell Patterson in the backfield to start the game out for us has helped us tremendously, and we should continue that trend. Mike Davis should be fired. He should have been fired 5 games ago. He should not play for us anymore. So our defense was it was terrible, man. We gave up 376 yards against the Saints, 431 yards against the Cowboys, 308 yards against the Patriots, 357 yards against the sorry Jacksonville Jaguars. And they only scored 1 touchdown on us. And we still gave up 357 yards to the Jacksonville Jaguars in total, we gave up 1,472 yards in the month of November, averaging 368 yards total we was giving up a game in the month of November. So our opponents did not have a problem moving the ball on offense at all. They did not. Our defense let the opponents do what they wanted to at will. Especially against the Cowboys, they gave up 431. So, again, man, the most disappointing person of this for the month of November has to be Arthur Smith. Just for the lack of cohesiveness our teams have had after losses and our bounce back ability. It takes a sorry team like the Jacksonville Jaguars to put us in the right direction because we can't do that against playoff caliber teams. Against the Patriots, we got smacked on prime time in front of everybody. I got friends, family, and loved ones. They was texting me after the game, during the game, like, hey man, y'all gonna score points? Your team looking kind of cool, man. You can do better than this. They was talking trash, man. It was terrible. And Arthur Smith then was like he had a clue on how to stop Bill Belichick. He didn't know how to stop the Cowboys. And he barely knew how to stop the Jacksonville Jaguars because they got a rookie. We got away with that. And the Saints, they don't have. This is his first time starting for the New Orleans Saints. So, maybe it'll get better for the month of December. Maybe. Miracles can happen in the month of December, I'm told. There's this fat white man, they say, that goes around from house to house giving out toys. So maybe he'll give out touchdowns and points to the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know. Maybe we should write a letter to Santa Claus and ask for a Super Bowl victory. I don't know. Maybe that's too much. Maybe we should start off small and just ask for another win against the Saints. We should just ask for a home victory. That's what we should ask for most. We should ask for a home victory. We should ask for our fans here in Atlanta who go to the games to allow them to see the Atlanta Falcons win a football game. Because I've seen them win on television. I haven't seen them win in the stadium. We haven't won anything close in the city of Atlanta in a whole year. It's been a year, man, since the Atlanta Falcons have won in the city of Atlanta within just preseason. Preseason 2. We suck. In general, man. It's been a while. So, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, I'm going to be doing a prediction video coming up Friday, Saturday, so be on the lookout for that. I'm also live streaming my reactions to the SEC Championship game this Saturday at 4 o'clock. The Georgia Bulldogs play the Alabama Crimson Tide. Those mighty, mighty Georgia Bulldogs will be facing those lonely suckers from the West. So tune in with me as I react live to that game here on YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe now so you get the notification for it when that moment occurs. Right now, I am wearing a shirt that says "The Thirst is Real" by comedian E. Craig. This is comedian E. Craig out of Atlanta's shirt. I'm going to go ahead and at him on this, so y'all can follow him on social media, get a shirt if you want to. The Thirst is Real. My name is Patrick Seals, man. Y'all go ahead and like, subscribe, share, comment, follow. Let me know what you think was the most disappointing person, player, or just in general moment of the game for the month of November. Let me know what you think. Y'all subscribe to the Comedy Hustle LLC Patreon. Subscribe to the Comedy Hustle LLC Patreon. Shouts out to Ace Cole for the music. I'm Patrick Seals. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.